This show will make every millennial feel nostalgic. MTV Downtown. This masterpiece has only 13 episodes, but even after 27 years, it still has its cult following and hype. Why did it make such a cultural impact and why does it have such a unique style? The creators of this show had an innovative idea. The characters of this cartoon have their own real prototypes based on real, ordinary, or sometimes not so ordinary people who are mostly in their early 20s. How I came across this show? On YouTube, I saw an interview with a woman who works in a bar and she's a yoga instructor at the same time. And in late 90s, she used to be a goth and she served as a prototype for the main character Serena. Mysterious and charming, I'd say she's a manic pixie goth girl. She's a dream girl for every sleazy simp. She works at a comics shop and also owns her site where she posts her seductive gothic pictures. And this fact makes nerds around her very excited. She sews her own clothes, writes lyrics, and walk at night at cemetery. She also plays some intricate instrument with some interesting name. Despite her having quite an unattainable image, she is an easygoing person, has a great sense of humor, and admits that she doesn't know why she picks bad guys who kinda look like characters from 90s metal music videos. Her main character, Alex, is deeply in love with her and she reciprocates his feelings. However, due to Alex's low self confidence and due to his surroundings, which is filled with hardcore nerds, he struggles to make a move towards Serena. Instead, he fantasizing about her, daydreaming, but hesitating to take the bold steps. Spoiler alert, I really like the idea that he is mostly attracted to her bloodthirsty gothic vampire image more than to her personality. In the last episode, when they were walking through a cemetery and he was taking pictures of her, they were talking about how style doesn't matter, but the person does, and how clothes are secondary. She took his words to heart and dressed up like a regular vanilla girl. But instead of accepting her, he got confused, upset, and started backtracking. And I find it totally outrageous. But he's really a typical simp, and it's more convenient for him to dream about her than to take an action and be decisive and make his dream come true. He's a character full of doubts and overthinking. He's too qualified for his job at a photocopy shop. He's a skinny, lanky guy who wears glasses, more of a casual guy than a nerd, but his friends are the opposite. His friends are kinda like a freak show. Serena hints to Alex that she's tired of dating bad guys, but he's stuck in a role of her fan and he doesn't understand the hint. He has a friend, Jen, and this character that hasn't stood the test of time. This show was released in 1999, and back then, this type of character was considered as a cool girl, someone you could hang out with, get drunk with, and take a limousine ride with, or spend the night playing board games with. She makes snide comments about more attractive girls, and she's clearly jealous of Alex's relationship with Serena. She often criticizes Serena, trying to catch her in some dirty deeds, and suspects her of all sins. Jen seems to be a jealous and insecure person who finds it easier to devalue her competition than to transform herself. Nowadays, she would be classified as pick me. She's so close with guys and she's against other girls. I think she has been in love with Alex since childhood, but he has a different type of a dream girl. and she's forever in his friend zone, which automatically makes her always nearby. She works at a second-hand store, and other main characters from the show often visit her. For example, Chaka. She's rebellious and courageous younger sister of Alex. She's an alpha female, unlike him. She's always followed by her pink-haired friend Mecca, who occasionally imitates her and dreams of a perfect vanilla relationship where they lie under the moon and he sings serenades for her. Chaka is a realist and she can fight back against anyone. She always has a paper spray with her. She and Serena are completely different, but as a Sigma and Alpha females, they respect and consider each other's presence. Once, Chaka arranged an anonymous date for her indecisive brother with Serena at a restaurant, and her brother ended up suffering from insomnia due to his worries about the upcoming date. As a result, after not sleeping for several days, he skipped the restaurant and somehow stumbled upon Serena, and they spent the entire night chatting, laughing, and vibing. And I believe she was attracted to him at that time because this moment he was real. He managed to let go and not to control his behavior, and he didn't doubt himself. Generally, I think his main pain is excessive overthinking and self doubt. Let's go back to the characters. There is also Matt and Fruity. The first one is into graffiti, he loves extreme sports, and he's normal, decent, and calm guy. On the other hand, his friend Fruity is a boy who constantly objectifies girls, makes sleazy comments about them, and gets rejected, of course. While this character may have seemed acceptable in 1999, nowadays is a walking red flag and guide how to not interact with girls. He's more of a caricature character, a jerk. Oh, and there is also goth, who I think in his 40s. He's a guy in a leather jacket who drinks, hangs out, and sleeps with whoever he can get his hands on. He definitely has chemistry with Jen, Alex's best friend, but this storyline was not developed further as the show was finished after the 13th episode. It is a winter of 2026, and this is the second time I watched this show in the past 2 years, and I'm still in awe with a sense of nostalgia for the universal spirit of youth that permits this series. It's like shoegaze, music that evokes nostalgia for collective use, as we are always 18 years old and euphorically madly in love, mostly with an image rather than a real person. We were probably all simps once, like Alex, who dreams of a god girl. The real characters of the cartoon are in the 40s or 50s, and also there is a fashion of early 2000s. Yeah, fashion is cyclical and repeats every 20 years. And it's not clear whether it's new cartoon or an old one, only 69 resolution quality gives it away. Also, this is the era before smartphones, all about human interactions, what people are now terribly missing. The feeling of a party is very well conveyed, and every episode is around 20 minutes. I think it can be watched in 2 evenings, and you can learn more about the customs of American teenagers in the early 2000s, and you can feel the groove of that time and enjoy stylish images and animations. And short, I recommend it.